What's going on, everybody? Sausage here. What if your memories were fading and the only way to save them was to walk back through them? This is The Lost Painter, a liminal space walking simulator about memory loss. It's short, it's atmospheric, and it might hit harder than you expect. Let's talk about that. So, the story. The game starts off with a disclaimer about dementia and how bad the disease is, and the game centers around that whole idea. Talking about disclaimers, I would also like to mention that if you have a fear of spiders, sharks, or semi-deep bodies of water, then you might not want to play this game. In the Backrooms level, there's a giant spider, though I didn't get close enough to find out if it would attack me, and there's a giant shark in a pool of water in the Hell level, so if you don't like those things, here's your warning. Anyway, you start the game off in a room full of paintings, and each painting starts to fade away slowly before you're teleported to what feels like a tiny little train station in space. From there, you enter these different worlds to recollect your memories, with the first memory being your grandparents, and then your parents, all the way up to your own children. Moving on to the gameplay, The Lost Painter is your typical liminal space first-person walking simulator. The structure revolves around a central hub world, which is the art gallery, which I thought was a train station, and it's kind of a train station, but it's more of a art gallery. And you enter the levels Mario 64 style by jumping into them, which was kind of cool. Each level is linear, but it's focused on exploration, which sounds kind of weird, but if you've played any other liminal space walking simulator, you know exactly what I'm saying. The only objective you have in each level is to reach the memory at the very end. Basically, the gameplay consists of walking from point A to point B through atmospheric environments. With that said though, there were some odd mechanics in the game, but odd doesn't mean bad, it just meant that I was not expecting it. For example, in the very first level, you're storming the beaches of Normandy in World War II, and you have a health system where you're being shot at, and you have to go collect health packs so you can make it all the way up the beach. Moving on to the graphics and art, the game features original artwork created by the developer, and I think the environments are built around those paintings. Each level represents a distinct setting and time period, with locations including World War II Normandy beaches, England in the 1970s and 1990s, the Backrooms, and even Hell. The Backrooms was my favorite part of the game, as cliche as that might seem, and runner-up would be the hub world because it's like this surreal train station-like place in space, and there's art. It's very weird, but I really enjoyed it. Each environment has a unique visual identity, and the art style leans into nostalgia and liminal aesthetics, and everything just kind of works. Moving on to the time or the value you'll get out of this game, The Lost Painter costs $3 on Steam. Completion took me just under 1 hour, and there's no Steam achievements. With all of that said, The Lost Painter earns a rating of 7 sausages out of 10. There's a central theme throughout the entire game, and it's basically wanting more time, and that really landed with me. I think everyone understands the feeling of not having enough time. Not only that, but memory loss is kinda sorta a universal fear that everyone has, and the emotional core feels relatable. With that said though, the story feels just a little bit shallow, like they didn't delve deep enough into it to really flesh it out. I would have liked more detail about the main character's identity and perspective, and I kept wondering, is this fictional or is it inspired by something personal? Gameplay wise, I love the train station hub with the Mario 64 painting mechanic. The other mechanics, the unexpected ones like the health packs on Normandy, really took me by surprise, but in a good way. Unfortunately, those mechanics are rare. I guess because it's a walking simulator, you can't expect to have all that stuff, but it was nice, and I guess I kind of wish there was a little bit more of it. Most of the experience is traditional walking simulator pacing, and the unique moments don't quite happen often enough to make it stand out. It's not bad, it just doesn't fully separate itself from other liminal space games either. The graphics and art though, that's my favorite part. Every level felt distinct. The Backrooms was my personal favorite, as cliche as that might sound, and I really enjoyed the surreal train station hub world that was kind of floating around in space. As for the price, $3 isn't unreasonable, but for just under an hour, maybe $2 is a better price. I will say that I spent most of the game walking. There are some areas where you had to run, but I didn't run if I didn't have to. So if you did run, it would probably be a little shorter, like maybe 45 minutes. So just know 45 minutes to about 55 minutes for $3. Like I said, $3 isn't unreasonable, but personally, maybe grab this when it's like 25% off. The Lost Painter is a short, atmospheric walk through fading memories. It blends liminal spaces with personal nostalgia. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it delivers a focused, emotional experience in under an hour. It's got strong art direction, simple gameplay, and it's got a brief but meaningful theme. So, if you enjoy liminal space games and short reflective experiences, well, this might be worth stepping into. And that's my review of The Lost Painter. If you got this far, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a little comment below, but if not, just know that I appreciate your viewership nonetheless. I also stream on Twitch occasionally. I have a Discord for both content creators and casual viewers alike, and I'm a Steam curator, so consider following me on all of those platforms as well. I'll leave a link to everything in the description below. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut my review here. Mahoney out.